Cheese! Rotted.
We are live.
We are live.
We are live.
Did I say welcome to the main event?
Run that thing, brother. You mad?
Oh, man.
Behave before you talk about what I'm talking about, yeah?
Disclaimer! Run that thing back. Nah, man, stay there in your corner, man. Run that thing back, fam. I don't want to hear nothing from you.
We are live, guys. I'm Sam, Mr. Blitztech.
Reckon GS.
Jay, one further to Cybernerds.
And yes, that time of the week where we discuss The Last of Us. This is episode 8, the penultimate episode before the finale. And yeah, man, today's a madness. We get to meet David, the result, how them men move, and Joel is Joel. So what are you guys saying about this week's episode?
It's a calm episode, some mad lines and scenes.
Mm.
I think that's overall. That's what I would say about this episode.
Okay.
I thought it was a pretty good episode. Liked it. I liked the villain in it. I liked the inclusion of Troy Baker in it. I thought that was cold. I like that we got to see Joel on Joel kind of stuff, even if he's got to be on 1 HP. And I loved everything from Ellie as well. I think Ellie, I think the Ellie they showed in this episode is good. Is a good Ellie to show, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Shows that she has grown up over the time that we've been with her. She is able to handle herself. But what I would say is I think some of her decision making is questionable in the episode. And I think that she could have got to. It could have been a safer route. Do you know what I'm saying? But she would have had to make harder decisions to do that. And I just think that even just throughout my journey with Ellie, these are some of the things I have, the issues I have with her. But I'm glad that at the end of this, it got, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad it ended the way it ended with her escaping an extremely volatile situation on her own and being reunited with Joel, who also who escapes an extremely volatile situation on his own and gets them back on the journey into the last episode. So I thought it was legit, man. And I really like David, as a villain. Yeah. Get me? I thought he was cold. And even Troy Baker as his right-hand villain, who doesn't trust him and has got compete. I love that all of that whole dynamic fire.
Yeah, the fact that we got minimal Joel last episode, and they double dosed on that with Troy Baker and bringing back my man like Pedro. Because it felt like when they came back in, especially Pedro came back in, it was like, raw. I actually kind of missed him from the last episode, you know?
100%.
Yeah, mad episode. I like this episode a lot. Like I said, David, I like the way he switched him up a bit more, made him more of a religious man. He now uses that as his reasonings and whatever. Still moving mad with calling himself the All Father and just doing the madness. But the way he portrayed, because before, in the game, I find him a bit more creepy. But here, obviously, he got to his creepiness eventually. But I feel like here is what was the word I was looking for when I was watching it? He felt like more of a man with purpose. The way he first met Ellie and was
I think he's better here, man.
Yeah.
He's definitely better here.
Way sicker here as well.
The way he gets portrayed, the dynamic of the actor, he seems like a very reasonable man.
Yeah.
But his reasonable it comes from a very seedy and evil place, bruv. So it reminded me a lot of the Book of Eli and Gary Oldman's character in that, and how he uses the word of God to manipulate people. I'm going to say with people whose minds are a bit susceptible to that kind of stuff. So I really like that, but I think he did it even worse because even with his it alluded to him being super creepy, and as episode got further, there was more shadier stuff okay, look, they're eating people and they're doing this, and then even when it got to the scene where he's telling Ellie, "Oh, Ellie, we can do this together," and they're putting he's put their hands make contact. It's very creepy, but there's still more levels to it, and it comes out later. And I like how they continually escalate his characters, getting worse and worse and worse. But then the way he gets vanquished is the exact same thing of that in a brutal. I love it, bro. Bro, it was cold, man. Cold episode, sick. Bro.
But the way he even tries to understand the quadriceps and be like, oh yeah, in a world like this, you have to be brutal to go head and forward, and it's with love. So I'm like, bro, you're just making things up in your head to justify what you deem is correct. And like some things he will say is, yeah, and some things like, all right, kind of, not quite, but yeah, whatever.
He kind of mixes.
See,
that's how he gets.
like,
That's how he finesses people.
Yeah,
for sure.
I was like, man, but the thing I'm picking up on the most, and I don't know if they're trying to lead into this in episode season 3 or I don't know. They keep calling Ellie a leader.
Which is still unwarranted. Still unwarranted.
They're planting the seeds now.
They've been planting the seeds, but
the
seeds they're trying to plant are unwarranted seeds because Ellie, besides being disruptive, has not displayed any kind of leadership qualities. The only thing I feel like she's explaining is like a willingness to survive. And that is even what David says when he says someone who's infected doesn't fight to survive as much as you do. And that's what I've seen she's been doing. Now, if they interpret that as being a leader, I do think it is a leadership quality, but she hasn't displayed the actual leadership roles. She's not actually led anyone. She's just shown that she's defiant to the general consensus, which is a leadership quality. But like I said, the way they're throwing at her, they're doing it too much. Do you get what I'm saying? So
you know, speaking of that, yeah, like one of the things I got from this episode, it was like, are they doing similar thing what they did with current Bel Air? So you see, like Bel Air first season, they give you all the original material, and then from the next episode, we'll just kind of go a bit more our own interpretation and explore different avenues, especially with them like throwing Ellie like the way they're showcasing that. Is this the case? Or because the way they've just thrown everything in the season, and I understand like a lot of the stuff has been done pretty well, like especially obviously a game, you spend quite a lot of time in the mission, while over here they've compacted nice and neatly, which I appreciate, but I just feel like, raw, are you guys just giving us this and then later on we're just kind of going to go on rap?
I think we've just got to see where it lands. Because realistically, like I say, them throwing the leadership thing out there is unwarranted. Like she's not done, for me, she's not displayed anything that says, I am a leader. So whether it diverges from it or not, I just want to see where it lands, because I'm not judging her on what she did in the game. I'm judging her here, and I don't think even here she showed leadership qualities. And even her relationship with Riley was the leader of this thing, and they said that Ellie didn't start acting up until after Riley. In terms of her getting caught by Tess and them, like she weren't leading a gang out of Fedra. She was being a delinquent, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? So I've not seen that. So it's not about comparing it to that. It's just from what they're giving us here, I don't think that's there. So it's interesting, because that's why I want to see where it lands, because like what are you trying to build to in terms of her being a leader, and why is this unnecessary? Why does she need to be a leader? She just needs to be Ellie. She just needs to be who she is. And I don't know. That's why I'm saying. So for me, it's a weird narrative in why they keep trying to push it like that and so overtly as well.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things that made me just wondering, just off the pace. That's what I'm asking.
I just find it weird as well, because like you're saying, like watching this and having the material as well. Obviously, this is like unprecedented thing we're in right now, because it's the same guy who wrote the game who's now writing the TV show. It's possible that this can go before or after the game, so that's never been done. But it's like then you're like not retconning, but it's like now you're reworking what you've already laid ground on in a previous medium. Right. So it's like it's the same guy writing it, but it's like, why wasn't that shown over here? Or are you going to diverge into two stories where the game does this and the TV show does that?
Which could work pretty well.
I think that goes to what Raven's saying in terms of, are they taking it in, like, are they truly adapting it into their own thing? And which is I'm cool with.
Yeah.
But I just want to understand where this leadership lands from and like where it's come from. It's not the fact that she's not a leader in the game. It's the fact that they're not showing real leadership qualities in the show.
Why place it?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. This is why I want to see where it lands, because it's like, are you taking Ellie on a completely different route completely? And we're not going to know that until it lands. And it's funny that obviously 2 episodes ago we were saying that these lot are kind of like derailing Joel. Yeah. And in this episode they're like, okay, look, Joel does do them things that you love, and they're trying to keep us quiet. But I still want to see where it lands, like, because it's all like, I did like this episode, but where's this going? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Because if we didn't have the game, I feel like our disposition towards the show would be quite different.
Oh, 1,000%.
What do you mean?
Like,
I think so.
For me, the seasons, it's a good season.
Yeah.
All the episodes feel very disjointed.
Yes.
And if I didn't know Joel from the game, I don't think I would be questioning Pedro Pascal's character in this and being like, oh, why is he acting like that? I'd also be questioning why they're forcing the Ellie leadership role, which I'm doing anyway. So I feel like we're giving them a bligh because we know the game and the characters from those stories. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, are we though? We've been questioning it the whole time.
We're questioning it, but we're giving it a bligh in the fact of,
oh, we need to see.
Yeah, bro. Like, I feel like we'd be even more critical
if we didn't play the game.
Oh,
and we are. I'm not saying we're not being critical. We are being critical, but I feel like we'd be even harsher.
I don't think so.
I think
because
so, bro.
This will be original. Like, we can't then be like, oh, Joel is doing this because of whatever. Like, I still feel like the disjointedness will still come up because it's like
100%.
Something was like this, then you're like this, and now you're like that, and then now it's just like it's almost like certain things, certain subjects don't feel like they join, especially, and it's weird because, like you said, it is hard now because obviously we've done both, and it feels like the scenes that they always get called from the game don't falter. Like, it's just like that seems very solid, but then when they get a scene maybe just outside, then it feels very weird, and it is kind of hard to separate.
And this is why I think that we would be going harder on it if we didn't have the game, because then we'd be like, yo, this set piece is sick. This set piece is sick, but why is this character acting like it would feel way more disjointed? But because we know what Joel is, like, we can be like, nah, that's definitely wrong. Whereas if it wasn't that, we'd be like, yo, this character's trash. Like, this is some waste character. Like, he's all over the place. He's up, he's down. But we've got, do you know what I'm saying? We've got an anchor with the game. So I'm actually at this point interested in seeing what people think about Joel who've never played the game. Like, yo, what do you man think of him? Like, because he's good in this episode. They kind of had him go away for 2 episodes. It's like, what are we doing?
I kind of had conversations about it from those who didn't play the game, and I think there's like 1 or 2 episodes where they were like, yo, what just happened in this episode? They were just like, and I think this is where you're talking about the disconjunction with certain episodes and stuff like that. And even like with Joe last episode, it was just like, where was Joe, kind of thing. So it's interesting to see other people's opinions on that. But yeah, man's just gonna have to wait and see what's gonna happen from here onwards.
Yes, I would say good villain.
I think he's been I think he might have been the best. He might have been the best. He might have been the best. Bro, he's definitely better than that chick with and she got more episodes. He was way better than her. And even Troy Baker in his supporting cast role, Troy Baker, fam, bro, he's out there killing it, bro.
So voice actor to actor.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. I love that as well. And do you know what? Yeah, I thought because he was in it, I thought Pedro Pascal was gonna get to kill him. So they were. I thought they was gonna be meta with it. Like, yeah, we're gonna have the new Joel kill the old Joel. But when they had Ellie do it, I was like, it fits better for the narrative, and it actually feels quite sad. Like, they didn't. But I thought that would have been cold as well. Do you get what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Hey, good episode.
It is a good episode.
Super legit, bro. Still.
Super legit. Yeah, so what are you guys going to rate today's episode?
I'm not mad at giving it a 4.5 for me. Do you know what I'm saying? The only reason I feel like it's high is because of the last episode. But this episode, as a standalone, I think is super lit. Like, if I was like, if someone was like, should I watch The Last of Us show? Or I could only watch 1 episode of The Last of Us show, and we was at this point, I'd give him this episode to watch. I'd be like, this is The Last of Us. Boom. Because I think this shows the strength of all of the characters, of the world, and there's not one clicker in it at all. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what I love about this. But they're mentioned and they're overlooming, like, him saying, oh, this is how they work and this is how while I'm working now, just shows the effect that they've had on the world. Do you get what I'm saying? So this is up there, probably one of my favourite episodes. Cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4. I really like how they compacted. This is one of my favorite missions in the game as well. But I really liked how they just compact everything, and it didn't feel like weird in some sort of way. Like the way, even the way Joel recovers, because like obviously in the game some time kind of goes past, but over here like it was well done. So yeah, listen, 4 for me. Enjoyed the episode. Sick villain of the week for sure.
Yeah, man, just a good adaptation all the way around. The way they even did the whole final boss scene, I was like, raw.
Boss fight was cold.
Yeah. How are you going to adapt that
Did
from
we
the
have
game?
the clicker in the game? Like, chasing? Who was chasing? No, it was David. It was David, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
See, the game felt like it was a clicker that was chasing you around the thing.
No, bro.
No, I said it felt for me. It
Is
felt
it?
because you know you're hiding around,
Yeah.
you're going around.
Uh-huh.
So usually like you're sneaking around because there's a clicker around, isn't it?
Yeah.
So in the game, it kind of felt like David was a clicker in itself.
No, for me, like, it felt worse because it was a human being moving the way he did, bro. I was
Right.
like, that's, to me, is mad. That's what adds to, like, his creepiness. And the fact that they, like, did it here and it was, like, a very good adaptation. Because when you play the game, and I was even wondering here, I was like, how are they going to do it? Are they not going to burn the building down? Are they not going to have Ellie sneaking around? And they, like, put it off perfectly, so...
Yeah,
Fire.
the restaurant was like seamlessly like the game as well.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that.
Everything for me was, like, just super on point. And the fact that this is probably one of the only points where... No, they've done it with, like, Bill as well, but another character that they've kind of elevated past the game and felt like, rah, his own kind of character.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, so for me, I'll give it like a 4.5.
Come on.
Super solid episode. And then now we just got the finale, bruv. I don't know.
No clue what's about to happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Zero. They could be 10 years in the future.
Yeah,
Man
that's what
don't
I'm
know.
saying.
Man don't know anything.
So, they left it kind of like they've jumped again. The way that's what I'm saying. The way it ended, I was like, oh, like they could
That's
leave it
it.
anywhere now.
And that's the thing. This could be the end of the game, really. Like, and that's it. Like,
Bro.
next episode could just be the passage into the next phase kind of thing.
That's
You know
it.
what I'm
So I want to see where they go from there.
I think it's gonna be the time.
Bro.
The thing is, it's like if it's not that, what are we ending the season with?
That's what I'm saying. Because from this, I'm like, they can do it.
100%.
But if they don't, I'm like, why not?
Yeah, but the next one, if they're doing it, it's got to be a bit. Bro,
I
it's gotta
just
get
see two things.
hour 20. We need a little bit more time.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
bro, because the thing is, yeah, the way they're handling these episodes, yeah, they're getting it done, but to really lay that down, that whole situation, yeah.
Now, after seeing this, it within, let me check the time real quick. If it's an hour, then I believe,
Nah,
I can't
50
believe
minutes.
it.
We need more.
I know we do, but
It's just like another 20 minutes. It's just another 20 minutes to really let, bruv. If the whole of the next season
yeah.
is gonna come off the back of this,
Yeah.
and we're going almost isolate, like we're doing like one event a month for what's going on in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
This thing has got to be fleshed out properly, man. And bruv, we got through it. It's not like there's nothing wrong with the pacing of this episode.
Yeah.
It's perfect. They perfectly deliver it. But I feel like there's more nuances into the other thing that we're gonna have to explain, bruv. That thing's got to be like a movie in itself, bruv.
Mm.
There's got to be a range of emotions, bruv. There's got to be everything, bruv. I'm just,
But
yeah.
I feel like they could do it within an hour.
boy.
And it is going to be like mad. I just want to see a giraffe. Just guys, just get a large giraffe. That's all I'm asking.
If it's longer, if it's only an hour, then we've got to cut the giraffe, bro.
Yeah, man, guys, 4.5. Let us know in the comments down below. What do you think of this episode? What do you think of David, Joel, Ellie, Troy Baker, all them things there? And yeah, we'll see you on the last episode of The Last of Us Season 1. It's mad just saying that.
I see what you
It's
did.
crazy.
I see what you did there.
It's nuts. It's nuts. But yeah, appreciate you guys for being here. And I'm Sam, Mr. Blitz Tech.
Revenue GS.
J1 for the Cyber Nerds.
Peace.